Hello, my name is Sonia and I am the co-founder of the Massachusetts Recreational Consumer Council. We are here today at the Cannabis Harvest Cup in Worcester, and this is the first legal cannabis cup, which is it's awesome. And it's finally here. You know, regulations are in the process of being kind of finalized. They will be out in March, and right now the Cannabis Control Commission, which is composed of 5 people, is finally having debates about the policies and the types of regulations that we'll have. So when I say regulations, what this affects is basically businesses that either are it's all different businesses in the recreational industry. So whether that's manufacturing or processing or even cannabis cafes, which is a regulation that has recently been approved, this is all in the regulations that are going to be coming out in March. And something that we're pushing for, so there's a timeline, the regulations will be coming out in March, but something that we're pushing for that's really, really important and that we need people to sign the petition for is 1-day and 3-day event licenses. So this is anything from dinners to workshops to just, you know, the typical events that the cannabis community attends will not be a possibility with these new regulations. So we need everybody to sign the petition so that the Cannabis Control Commission can understand that this is something that the Massachusetts cannabis consumer community already does. We already participate in these sort of events. So it's important for them to make it legal, because legalization should increase accessibility instead of decreasing it. So that's our organization, the Massachusetts Recreational Consumer Council. That's what we do. We advocate on behalf of consumers because, you know, sometimes the government may not always have its best interests, the consumer's interest in mind, as well as businesses as well. You know, sometimes businesses may not always have the consumer's interest in mind. And so it's important for us as consumers to stand up for ourselves and let the government know what we want. You know, our votes legalize this industry, so now it's only a matter of time of legalizing it the right way. And the right way means local economy, it means craft cannabis, it means equity, it means just having a different variety of products that consumers can enjoy now that the plant is finally legal. Yeah, so surprisingly, the Cannabis Control Commission has done an amazing job at being transparent and open with the public on their decision making. So all of this past week, they held 4 meetings which were open to the public where they debated what regulations we would have. And they allowed some pretty amazing things such as cannabis cafes. That's going to be real. You know, so many people didn't even see this coming. And this is something that doesn't even exist in a lot of other legal states. So in 5 years, if we continue going the way that we are currently going right now and growing, I think we're going to be in a pretty good place. But that doesn't mean all the work is done. Just because we legalized it doesn't mean that it's, you know, everything is set, we can now relax. No, this means that we have to be actively engaged. This means that we have to show up to these public sessions. Because yes, these public sessions are public, but it's important for us to attend them because the majority of people that attend these public sessions are lobbyists and lawyers which have corporate interests. And as consumers, it's important for us to attend these sessions because we should have our interests met as well. Something that we were able to fight off in the past was vertical integration, which basically means that from seed to sale, one company does everything. And that's very limiting in an industry because we should have specialization and we should have the ability for other companies to kind of join the space as well and have like dispensaries buy from other retailers. So this was actually something that we were able to circumvent. This is no longer vertical integration is not something that exists in the recreational industry. We have the ability to, dispensaries have the ability to buy from other producers, to buy from different cultivators, and this just increases the quality of the product that we have available on the shelves. because you're not only having product from one dispensary. That dispensary has a pick and choose of what high quality products they will want to have on their shelves. So I think it's looking pretty good as long as we stay active and as long as we sign this petition that I told you guys about. Okay, so the Massachusetts Recreational Consumer Council actually started very shortly after the plant was legalized, December 15, 2016. And so there's 4 co-founders, and we kind of came together very naturally. 2 of our co-founders are still in college. They go to UMass Boston. And then the other 2, which is Kamani and I. So Kamani's originally from Brooklyn. I grew up in Wisconsin and Colorado. I came to school to the East Coast. I got into Harvard and just discovered the plant there and then became a servant to the plant. And so we kind of, all our gifts just kind of naturally came together, where Gabriella is more like geared towards the visual. She's more of a creative director. And then Joey is more of a community outreach. And then I'm more of like an admin behind the scenes. If anybody needs help, like that's where I am. I'm kind of like helping everybody as they do everything. And then Kamani is a registered lobbyist, which is very important because lobbying is actually how laws get passed in America. So a lot of other industries, not just the weed industry, they lobby, like the agricultural industry, the food industry, the tobacco industry. And lobbying basically just means showing up and talking to the people that are making the decisions and having them write the laws that you want. And so this is why it's important for us to lobby as consumers, because most of the time lobbying tends to be done by corporations, for corporations. And that may not always have the consumer's best interest in mind. So as lobbyists, we show up and we kind of become sheep in wolves' clothing. Yeah, our ultimate goal and vision is local economy and just having an amazing craft weed industry that really gives honorable name to legalization. Because, what does legalization mean? Sometimes you can look at legalization and say, well, legalization is just the commodification of the plant. And that's not necessarily always a good thing. Legalization should be access to the plant so that those that have been arrested for the plant are no longer being arrested for it, so that in equal amounts, people can make money and not just go to jail. Because right now, there is still a racial disparity. In Colorado, only 1% of dispensaries are owned by people of color. And when you look at the arrest rates and look at who's going to jail versus who's making money from the plant, that's kind of a problem. So we want to change those numbers. We want to shift the needle. I see marijuana, cannabis, ganja as one of the last ways to equalize. It's one of the last equalizers. There was a tech boom, and now there's a marijuana boom. Marijuana and Bitcoin, they're happening at the same time. But it's here regardless. There's gonna be, new money is gonna come from this. And specifically talking about Massachusetts, and specifically Boston, this city is a city with a lot of old wealth, old money. And that's great and everything, but there's also huge disparities that we cannot ignore, like the net worth of a black family being only $8 in comparison to a white family, which is, I believe, $240,000. So those are disparities that we cannot ignore. And if we're gonna legalize the plant, we have to make sure that we legalize it properly and we allow equal access and equal opportunity for people to make money from the plants. So that's the main goal. Yeah, so my name is Sonia. I am the co-founder of the Massachusetts Recreational Consumer Council. You can follow our work. We live stream all the CCC hearings, any important hearing that's happening at the State House, so that you can watch it from the comfort of your own home. at MA Consumers on Instagram, and on Facebook it says Massachusetts Recreational Consumer Council. And you can also follow me personally and follow my work at For Real Though with 2 H's on Instagram.